In the latest Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter, Dragon Ball Super Chapter 61, we find out that Yardrat has more going on for it than just the instant transmission technique. While we knew this to be the case since Dragon Ball Z, we actually learned what those techniques are in Dragon Ball Super, with one of them being Forced Spirit Fission, the ability to separate things that were combined through fusion or absorption. That's a pretty unique and interesting ability for Dragon Ball, to be sure. So I want to ask a question in this Dragon Ball What If. Let's try to find out what would happen if Goku learned Forced Spirit Fission in the Cell Saga. Next Wednesday, I'll be releasing a video explaining Forced Spirit Fission as a technique in general, so hit that like and subscribe button if you're interested in that, and more Dragon Ball content to come. Also, check out my Twitch over at twitch.tv/Carthu for some live streams Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. EST. I hope to see you there. To start this What If though, we have to determine at which point Goku would try to learn Forced Spirit Fission, and to me, that isn't his initial time on Yardrat, as he would see no benefit in learning that technique over instant transmission. I actually see Goku returning to Yardrat after he exits the Room of Spirit and Time. You see, after exiting the Time Chamber, Goku asks Master Karin to compare his power to that of Cell's, and Karin says that Cell seems to be the stronger of the two. We are aware that Goku knew of Forced Spirit Fission as shown in the Moro arc, so after thinking it over, he decides to have a plan alongside the Gohan plan. First, Goku teleports to King Kai's world, and after asking which direction Yardrat is, he teleports to Yardrat to continue his spirit control training. There are 9 days until he has to return to Earth for the Cell games, so he has no choice but to at least learn the principles of the technique in that time. After 7 days, Goku is painfully aware that he won't be able to master this technique on Yardrat, so he decides to go back to Earth with the principles he's learned and will enter the Room of Spirit and Time once more to finalize his training. He had wished to avoid this outcome since he didn't like the idea of overtraining in the Time Chamber, but he had no choice if this backup plan was to pan out. So Goku enters the Room of Spirit and Time 2 days before the Cell games and takes Piccolo in with him, so he has somebody to practice the new technique on. Piccolo being the best candidate for this training due to his merger with Nail and Kami. It takes Goku half a day in normal time, aka 6 months in the Time Chamber, but he finally manages to perfect the technique, separating Kami and Piccolo as his first successful attempt. However, this has one major change that you wouldn't expect. Kami split as his youthful self rather than his older self. Kami looked to Piccolo and was ready to return to being one again, but Piccolo declined. Now that Goku was done with his training, Piccolo was going to train in the Time Chamber as well, and the benefit of being able to train with someone that thinks just like him was undeniable. It's even arguable that training as separate entities would provide greater yield when they merged once again. Piccolo and Kami begin their training, and Goku leaves the Time Chamber. A day later, Kami and Piccolo emerge and are far stronger than they were when they started. Arguably, each half is now more powerful than the initial merging of the two earlier in the arc. In essence, both are Super Namekian Piccolo level, possibly even beyond that. So, when they merge again, the power they yield should be a massive increase overall. However, they weren't going to merge just yet, as Piccolo and Kami both realized that the Dragon Balls would be needed after Cell is defeated. Remember, Goku went to Yardrat right after he exited the Room of Spirit and Time, so Dende was never brought to Earth, meaning that the only source of Dragon Balls currently available is Kami. Kami and Piccolo explained their plan to the others, and after half a day more of waiting, the Cell games were ready to begin, and everyone made their way to the arena to face the monster Cell once and for all. As happened originally, Mr. Satan goes first.
Nice shot!
Next to step into the ring is Goku, and this fight isn't too dissimilar from the original version of the battle. After only a few exchanges once they power up, Goku realizes that his power won't hold out against the monstrous Perfect Cell. However, just like Vegeta was weaker than Moro, Goku can be weaker than Cell and still remove the stolen energy from his body. Just as Forced Spirit Fission can split up the merged Namekians, it also is able to split Cell back into the two androids he absorbed, and his imperfect form. Alongside that, Goku removed the life force that Cell absorbed from the people of Earth, and Cell was no longer a challenge to most of the people standing near the arena. While Goku's own mortality weighed heavily on his mind after contracting the heart virus, he realized he could do more good for the next generation by being around to raise them rather than hoping they could take over today. Now that Cell is back to his base and perfect state, he's quickly dealt with by Goku, who is not against killing Cell since he realized after dealing with Frieza that not everyone can be redeemed. Check out my Morality of Goku video for more information regarding Goku killing villains. Obviously, this leaves us with Goku being alive and allowing the Buu arc to be handled in many ways. With Goku around for 7 years, Vegeta is able to fight with Goku whenever he wants, and by continuing Gohan's training through peace, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan are beyond the power they had in the original Buu arc, outside of maybe Super Saiyan 3 Goku. The fusion dance is never learned by Goku since he was taught it in the afterlife, and things appear fairly similar in the lead up to the Tenkaichi Budokai. Before the tournament, Gohan and Videl still meet, and she's the reason the Z-Fighters enter the tournament. Goku helps Gohan teach Videl how to use Ki, and it's a very wholesome time overall. This leads us to the tournament itself, which is interrupted by Spopovich and Yamu, who steal Gohan's energy as they originally did. However, Gohan is stronger here. Having learned Super Saiyan 2 in the 7-year time skip alongside his non-stop training, he has pushed himself to a level far above that of his canon incarnation, with over 2 times the power he had in the Buu arc originally. Gohan's power is enough to revive Buu all on its own, since of course he was responsible for half of Buu's revival originally. This removes the need for Babidi's minions to fight Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, as Buu is ready to face them right away. The ki that the 3 Saiyans sense from Buu is immense, and they realize that they have to face him at the same time. Even with their teamwork and their power, it's clear that Buu is too much for them to handle. But Goku starts to realize something as he fights Buu. He can sense another being inside of Buu, even more than just one. It feels as though Buu had absorbed other people at some point before being sealed away, so there's a chance that Goku could at the very least weaken Buu by removing them. So Goku proceeds to use Forced Spirit Fission to remove the North and Grand Supreme Kais from Buu's body, thus returning the monster to his Kid Buu state. While this state is more wild than the childlike Fat Buu, in this version he is weaker than Fat Buu as well, due to Buu gaining more power over time, and no time has passed for Buu to gain that power. This is the reason the original Kid Buu is stronger than the original Fat Buu. His base form as a Buu, as a Majin Buu, was getting stronger the longer he was free from being sealed, which was a decent amount of time if you consider all the forms Buu went through. With Buu's power now massively reduced, it's easy enough for the 3 Saiyans to work together, overpower him, and finish him off. Once we get into Super, nothing really changes outside of Goku not having Super Saiyan 3. Goku still becomes the first Super Saiyan God and faces down Beerus. Gohan still wants to be a scholar, so despite him continuing his training, it isn't under Whis. And against my better judgment, I'll be keeping the Resurrection F arc mostly the same. Obviously Gohan's a little stronger, but he wouldn't be that strong, so he's not that much of an issue to Frieza. Little things like that don't matter. At this point, Kami and Piccolo have merged again, and Dende has been brought to the planet, so they have Dragon Balls, which happened at some point in this long time span. It can be whenever you want, because it really doesn't make much of a difference. The Universe 6 tournament is pretty much completely unaffected, and as is becoming very clear very quickly, this technique really only changes the arcs that have fusions and absorptions involved. There are certain things that are seemingly beyond the limits of the technique, which I'll explain in my Wednesday video describing the technique and what it can actually do. So I'd like to wait for the technique to be a bit more explored as well, because Goku Black is a weird subject there. The Tournament of Power has some interesting dynamics, and the Broly movie obviously includes something we don't have in the series right now, Metamor and Fusion. In short, though, for the future Trunks arc, I'd say Vegito Blue still happens since Gowasu is present in the future timeline, and he can give them the Potara, and Vegito could definitely use Forced Spirit Fission to defuse Merge Zamasu. He'd then take out Goku Black with little to no difficulty whatsoever, and just taking Zamasu back to the present would be the best way to seal him away by getting the seal from Master Roshi again. Buu isn't around to compete in the Tournament of Power, so that may change more crazily, but really it doesn't seem like it would as I skim over it. I might come back to this what if for a quick part 2 at some point, so make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely hit the like button, by the way, because that's the way I gauge if you guys want another part 2 of What If, so let me know with those likes. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitch. Like I said earlier, I stream there every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern every single time. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I hope to see you there.